Hey, Nicole, welcome to the 13th episode of Unleash the Knowledge's mini-series titled 15 Minutes with Owen. It's so exciting to have you here, and I think that my community will really like what they're about to hear. Thanks again.
Hi, Owen. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. So I'm going to start my 15-minute timer right now. We're going to hop right into it, and we'll get some questions rolling.
Great.
So first question I have for you is, for those who may not know you, can you share a little bit about yourself?
Yes, I am a wife and mother, and I have been writing online for pretty seriously 4 to 5 years now, and I've really first started writing. Fourth grade is the earliest memory.
Very cool. That's amazing. That's a question we'll get to shortly, so I'm glad you brought that up. But so the book that you read or wrote that I read is called Make Money on Medium, Build Your Audience and Grow Your Income with Medium.com. And this book, for someone that doesn't know about Medium.com, or even someone that does, it is structured in a beautiful way. That's what I like the most about it. It starts with how to build your profile, to how to get the content out there, to how to maneuver the platform in the right way and work with publishers within the platform to get your information out, at the highest caliber that it can, to get seen in front of the most eyes. So can you just give me a quick glimpse on the timeline that it took for you to write this book, and perhaps how long it took you to really develop the idea of, wow, maybe people really need to understand how to navigate Medium.com, and any information you could explain in that regard?
Well, the publication, PubLishous, came up at the end of 17, and I really started getting the same questions over and over again from writers, and they seemed to have the same struggles. How do I build my profile? What do I do? How do I do certain things with my stories? How do I get a good title? How do I format my story so that it's pleasing to the platform and it's written in a way that performs? And so those are a lot of the things I center the book around. And the book came out the rough draft came out in the course of a month.
Okay.
And you get to hold my feet to the fire on this, because I haven't told anybody about this, and you get to uncover this. There's a whole new level, and I'm actually writing the next steps beyond this. So you get to hold my feet to the fire for the rough draft on that one by the end of this month. Yeah, so there's a whole new level coming, because now that we uncovered all those basic steps to get started, people are saying, give me more. Give me more, give me more. How do I really do this? Because now you've got me on the platform and up and running, but how do I make some serious cash? At least, more than pocket change, because honestly, it's kind of hard to do, especially if you're coming to the platform late. So once you've got yourself on the platform and up and running, what do you do now? How do you really get your stories to perform, and what are those next steps?
That's awesome. I would assume that the platform is probably ever changing as well, and you being very involved with it, so you could share a lot of tidbits and maybe sneak peeks or ways to kind of get around certain gatekeepers within the website. And for that reason, I would think that maybe a second edition, third edition, or whatever have you might be coming next as well. So that's good to hear. The Unleash the Knowledge community got the first snippet about that, which is fantastic. So I'm curious to talk more about your PubLishous. I'm saying that's correct. Yes, your company that you have. Can you share how you found success building that, and was it speak on how you found success in growing the company, but also what the current member count is today?
Well, we started late 17, and my husband was going into sabbatical, and we weren't sure what we were going to do at that point. So we took a little time off and hopped the pond, went over to Spain and hiked Camino, and literally backpacked this through Camino. So laptop in the backpack, wow. Literally backpacked this. So those were the grassroots efforts in the earliest days, and it just really built from there. Personally, I came up as one of Jeff Going's tribe writers, And so I've really been active in writing communities, especially in Facebook, where a lot of those groups meet. And so I laid the groundwork that I was connected. I was already connected in writing groups, and I really started in the health space, but the shift happened there in late 17 to actually help writers. And I was connected and it made sense. And so, today I'm coaching writers on the platform, and it really developed from there. From really nothing in 17, we're going to break 42,000 today. When I looked early this morning, we were at 41.8 or something crazy like that. And it blows my mind. I think we really started this because I was on my knees in prayer about what we were going to do. And the answer came pretty clearly to build this. So we built this, and it's been blessed. And we're just continuing to do what's necessary.
That's awesome. I love to hear that. And I think from reading the book, I kind of got the gist of this, or maybe it was just to submit content, but to become a member, do you have to get approved, or is it open to anyone? With no.
Right, with PubLishous?
So to be a part, you have to be a content writer. Is that the best way to put it, rather than maybe just a viewer or a group member?
Well, anyone can read the content on Medium. It's best if you're a $5 a month member, because then you get to read unlimited content. Otherwise, you're just kind of limited to your 3 stories a month, unless you can find some friend links out there. But $5 a month to be all in writing content on the Medium platform, I think is a really small price to pay. And then you get to read unlimited stories. So we have gotten a little more selective since when we started, and we have really had to kind of up our game in our bar to promote some of the best content. So we're looking for writers who kind of know the platform a little bit and are already there, kind of know how to format their work in a way that gets some eyes on it, that makes it appealing to read. And we are happy to help share the knowledge that we have and give the best potential we can to help those pieces get curated. So what does that mean? That means extra eyeballs and extra promotion from Medium. So we work with writers to do all of that.
That's great. And that's more of a reason to get your book and to understand medium.com, so you could be a part of a over 40,000 person community, which is an insane number. And it's to get your content there is fantastic, but I'm sure the networking aspect, to be around writers and read their content and be able to refine your own skills, is also probably a major advantage to be a part of your community. So that's amazing stuff. I have this fun question that I'm curious to ask, and the idea about a writer being born or curated or refined, someone that could become one. Are there a few characteristics you could share that perhaps you could see in someone who's not a writer, and you could be like, wow, this person has the potential to be a fantastic writer?
I would say people who have an interest probably don't know what they're stepping into until they step into it, especially on this platform. I think writing here is a little different than it is in other places. And of course, you're as a writer, you're always gearing your content to the method of delivery. So there's always that little bit of a shift. But this platform, I would say, is always in beta. It's ever shifting. And so when those goals change, you have to be prepared to adapt. And sometimes that adaptation has to happen quickly. So you've got the drive, and then there's always a fine tuning and ongoing process, I would say.
Very cool. That's a good point. There's the idea about adaptation and pivoting is something that keeps coming up in my life, and everyone I read about, everyone I talk to, it's always, especially in COVID, in our current, state of address of what we're going through, that you got to be able to, turn the corner, find the new way, and figure things out. And I guess this will lead into my next question, which is great because a heavy demographic of Only the Knowledge is about 20 years old to about 33, 35 years old. So it's still kind of in the pocket of time of building your career, taking the next step, and refining your life. Can you share from your experience one skill, a number one skill perhaps, that you think young professionals should look to master today?
Interesting. I think we already named it. I think it's the adaptability. To get stuck in an old way of thinking is to not grow as much as you can. Really, to be ongoing, learning, and ready to change. And this platform just, it is ever growing. It is encompassing a lot, a heavy number of new members. And if I was on this platform active a couple years earlier, I'd have a completely different outlook than I have right now. I'd be much farther along. And, we can always say, what if I was here earlier? But I think we just embrace where we are and keep going and think that our time comes when it comes, because that's the way it's supposed to be.
That's true. I agree with that. And that's a good point, because it always you could always look back and say, oh, I wish I knew that then. I wish that happened. But then again, at the same time, at least in my short life so far, I've realized if I did know that back then, I don't think I had the confidence or self-belief to even pursue it. So it's much better I learned it now, while I have the other kind of characteristics that can integrate with that one piece that I was hoping for, that finally presented itself. So I love that. That's a really good piece that you just said. So there's, COVID's happening. People want to travel. You're in Texas. I'm in New Jersey. Two hotbeds throughout this whole time. Is there anything still unwritten for you that you're looking to accomplish? A dream that once things do open up, you're looking to really go fully into it? Or is it just to make sure your kids can get to school and not be at a risk and everything can run smoothly for the next 6 months or so?
Oh my goodness, if the kids could go back to school and I could have 5 hours to really go after this during the day, like head down and not teach kids, oh my gosh. But no, this is part of our new normal. And I think interesting that, as entrepreneurs, we get the work done when we can. So sometimes it's late at night, sometimes it's in shifts. And I think all of us, we can relate with the keep on keeping on philosophy, that whatever happens is what happens out there, and as much as I can control the dynamic, I can control my ongoing development. So I'm really wanting this to be full time, getting super duper close. And so really proud of those efforts, and glad that that's worked out the way it has. But I think it all goes back to the way this started, and we've just got to keep that focus and know that this is what we were supposed to build. And so now we have to nurture that.
That's great. And as an active writer, I'm sure you're also an active reader. Is there a number one book other than your own that you can share with the community that you find yourself rereading, recommending, gifting others, or it just keeps popping into your vision personally?
Yeah, there are actually, I brought a couple. Rachel Hollis, Girls Stop Apologizing. And not that I really apologized, but in this book, she really owned who she was for herself, and that she was different and out of the mainstream. And personally, she's, getting a divorce now, and there are other things in her personal life, but she is owning who she is. And that backs up, as a mom, these two go hand in hand. Sarah Knight.
Got it.
I like her plain speak. And yes, hey, we all need this one right now. Tensions are high, right? And so you couple that again back to the owning who you are, because we all start out with some version of who we think we are. Yeah. But along the way, we learn who we really are. And you let all the stuff fall off that doesn't matter. So again, by Sarah Knight with more plain speak. And you own who you are, you stop looking around, you put your head down, do the work, and you show up as who you are. And when you do that, the doors open.
That's awesome. That's amazing stuff. Well, this period of time has been great for me with self-reflection. So, but all those books are ways to dive deep internally, figure out what's going on there, what you liked pre-COVID, what you didn't like, and where to take the next steps. Whether that's transitioning a career or writing a book, getting on Medium.com, sharing your thoughts, just having that outlet, it could help you in a massive way. I have one last question for you, and this is something that I always love asking. That when you wake up in the morning, you attack the day. Is there a personal mantra that always revisits or always pops into your head that kind of is the engine for you, or potentially maybe a parent or a relative that always told you maybe a phrase that always resonated highly with you?
Two things come to mind. One, tell me I can't do something.
Mhm.
My husband says that's always my inspiration. Just tell you you can't do it and then watch you do it anyway. The other is to just be better than you were yesterday. Take the next step. And especially right now, things are hard in general. And for a lot of us, I would say it's a mental shift. And some of us are starting to make it, and some days better than others, right? So
Right.
I would say just take the next step. Just one more step. Do something better, different than yesterday, and just keep going.
So much wisdom. Thank you so much, Nicole. Again, your book is Make Money on Medium. Subtitle reads Build Your Audience and Grow Your Income with Medium.com. Nicole Akers, thank you so much. Is there anywhere I could send people to learn more about yourself, your company, and how they can keep up with your life throughout COVID and post-COVID?
Absolutely. I'm on a medium.com. You can find me there, and the website is PubLishouSnow.com.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you have a great day, and I hope to stay connected as well.
Thank you, Owen. I hope to stay connected. Thank you so much for your time.
All right.